PEMDAS is an acronym for the words parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Given two or more operations in a single expression, the order of the letters in PEMDAS tells you what to calculate first, second, third, and so on. If there are grouping symbols in the expression, PEMDAS tells you to calculate within the grouping symbols first. The letters PEMDAS and the words parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction may not be very meaningful for someone trying to remember this order. So a phrase has also been attached with the letters in PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. If you can remember this phrase, then it may be easier to remember the order of operations given in PEMDAS. So why is PEMDAS important? Without PEMDAS, there are no solutions to obtain only one correct answer. As a very simple example, to calculate 2 times 4 plus 7, I could multiply first and then add to get 15. I also have the option to add first, then multiply and get 22. So which answer is correct? Using PEMDAS, the only correct answer is 15 because the order of the letters in PEMDAS tells me that multiplication M should be performed before addition A. Here's an explanation of the rules given in PEMDAS. P as the first letter means you complete any calculations in grouping symbols first. Next, look for exponents E. Ignore any other operation and take any numbers with exponents to their respective powers. Even though M for multiplication in PEMDAS comes before D for division, these two operations actually have the same priority. Complete only those two operations in the order they occur from left to right. Even though A for addition is in PEMDAS before S for subtraction, these two operations also have the same priority. You look for these last two operations from left to right and complete them in that order. At this point, I will be using PEMDAS in a mathematical expression. We have here 3 examples, and for example number 1, if we are told to calculate or simplify the expression 24 plus 6 divided by 3 times 5 times 2 cubed minus 9, how does PEMDAS work? First, I look for any grouping symbols P. There are none, so I then look for any exponents E. Since I see 2 cubed, I will do that calculation first without performing any other calculation. Thus, I have 24 plus 6 divided by 3 times 5 times 8 minus 9. Now I look for multiplication M and division D from left to right, ignoring any addition or subtraction. My next series of calculation will produce the following. I divide 6 by 3 and then I get 2 from this division. Next, I multiply 2 into 5 and then 10 into 8. So therefore, I arrive with this simplified expression, which have only 2 operations, plus and minus. Lastly, I complete addition A and subtraction S from left to right, and so I get 95 as my final answer. So that's the end for the first example. For the next example, calculate the expression 36 minus 2 times quantity 20 plus 12 divided by 4 times 3 minus 2 squared plus 10. Since there is a grouping symbol, I must perform all calculations in the parentheses first. Using PEMDAS for any operations in that parenthesis, I squared first the 2 and then I get 4. Next, I divide 12 by 3 and so I have 3 from this division. After that, I multiply 3 by 3 since multiplication comes first before the addition and subtraction. Now I add 9 with 20 and subtract it with 4. Thus I came up with 25 as an answer in the parentheses. Ignoring the addition and subtraction, I then complete the multiplication operation. Last, I add and subtract from left to right, and so I get -4 as my final answer. That's the end for the second example. But before we proceed to the last example, note that if you encounter a calculation with one expression grouped inside another grouping, start with the innermost grouped expression and work your outward using PEMDAS. So for the next example, Calculate 6 plus 3 times quantity 72 divided by 3 squared minus 1 times 2 cubed minus 1 quantity squared plus 12 divided by 4. Since there are two grouping symbols, I start calculating the innermost grouped expression first. Using PEMDAS for any operations in that parenthesis, I cube the 2 and then I get 8. Next, I subtract 8 with 1 and so I have 7. My series of calculations is evident in the following. Now, I use PEMDAS on the next level of grouping. I squared the 3 which is equal to 9 and so is 7 which equals 49. Next, I divide 72 by 9 and multiply 1 by 49 and so I get 8 and 9. I then subtract them to get the answer in the grouping, hence I come up with negative 41. Ignoring the addition, I multiply negative 41 by 3 and divide 12 by 4. Thus, I arrive at this expression. Last, I complete the addition and subtraction from left to right, and so I have negative 114 as my final answer. Great! So for the lesson summary, using PEMDAS for any expression, all exponents should be simplified first, followed by multiplication and division from left to right, and finally, addition and subtraction from left to right. Then the parenthesis in the acronym signifies that any expression in a grouping symbol should be simplified first.